In a moment, you will witness a controversial incident of this match. Was Tommy Greene fouled? If so, was the foul committed inside or outside the penalty area?
We didn't know what nerves were. We didn't know what, you didn't know what hamstrings were. Nothing.
Tommy Greene was way ahead of his time in terms of how football should be played.
He was a brilliant player. He was probably our best forward by a long way.
Tommy didn't like the training, and he said that himself.
He was all right.
Courageous, greatest of all, we the faithful, we never give up. Offaly heroes, courageous, greatest of all.
Delighted to be here in the Faithful Fields, Offaly's training facility, to say a few words about Tommy Greene. Tommy Greene was a name that I got to know very quickly growing up in Offaly. I suppose, very lucky in 1980 when Offaly won the first ever Leinster Hurling Championship. Pádraig Corn from St. Rhinus was captain, Daingean Martin Rhinus, my club St. Rhinus. I was 12 years of age, and already at that stage I was hugely into Offaly GAA and into the history of Offaly GAA, and I also played a lot of Gaelic football. So I would have, I suppose, as years went by, got to know a lot of the footballers from 71 and 2, and obviously in later life the players from 82, as well as playing with Offaly for many years myself. But I always go back to where it all started for me, and go back to the men that made it happen, and Tommy Greene certainly was one of those pioneers for Offaly GAA.
Tommy Greene is one of the great names of Offaly football. I was born in 1973, so I was a young lad growing up in the 70s and the 80s, but he was one of the names that I always heard of. Very important member of the 60 and 61 team, which were absolutely revered in Offaly for years, and still are. They were the team that broke the mould and set up everything else, because you could argue that nothing else would have happened without them making the breakthrough, and Tommy was a huge part of that. The one comment I used to hear about Tommy was that he was ahead of his time in terms of the type of football he played. At the time, football was very much a catch and kick game. James McCartan, the famous Down footballer, said that very definitely about our Offaly team in his autobiography. But Tommy, I think, was different. He was more of a playmaker, more passing the ball, very, very, very good footballer by all accounts. A unique character. He went to Knockbeg College. He won college's hurling and football titles there. He was playing with Offaly from '57. Probably could have played a lot more for Offaly. He only played 40-something games for Offaly. I think it was 44 league and championship games for Offaly.
Yes, Tommy Greene, a magnificent player. He's from Daingean, and the one thing about him was we used to drive down from Dublin to train in Daingean, and Tommy didn't train with us because he didn't like the methods that we used, or that the trainer used. But Tommy was never carried too much meat on him, like myself, and he was always as fit as a fiddle. And the fact I didn't train with us didn't make the slightest difference. You might get away with it this time of the year, or this era. But he was a brilliant player. He was probably our best forward by a long way.
There was a bunch all around where we lived in Kildare, and they used to come together, and we joined up, and everybody paid in, and we bought a ball of our own, and we used to go into a field just down beside us, and we played, and they come from all around, and we'd have a match every evening near enough. I was faster, I could jump higher, and from all the work we did on the old farm and after cattle and whatever, and the hunting, you were stronger and you're better balance. We had tremendous balance. But I could jump much higher than any of them, and then I had two great fees.
Sure, Tommy's been around like since Adam was a child. Like he's been here. You know, even when I started playing football, Tommy was an ever present here up the pitch. Great man to give a bit of encouragement or advice. Always supportive and always anytime you see him after a match or during training, he'd be out watching and he'd always have a good word. And, you know, we always knew him as a legend. I suppose we didn't really know why he was a legend. We knew he had done great things and that, but as you get older, you appreciate that a bit more about what he did actually achieve for both Daingean and Offaly.
Tom Greene used to be cross with the footballers, but he was the force behind the team, and like a trainer, a dictator and everything, he was the one that cut out the rules and give everyone the details how to play such a man, what to do. He'd remember every kick of the ball, every match, and who played well and who played bad, who could put on such a man.
We won the football and the hurling, won the double, and that was my big one because I scored the great goal in the football, and I out-jumped everybody in the square there was about a dozen in there, and I put the ball into the net. And the other one was I scored 6 goals in the hurling final, and that would be me big do. There was a scarcity of material during the war, and they were priceless. You wouldn't get a set of jersey. But Ballyclass had that's a team in Daingean, and they had 14 jerseys. They didn't have the 15, and their team had dismantled, and we bought the set of jerseys, and we used to. My lad would wear a shirt or something in the goal. It was only a sub when we played for Ban, and it was a draw match, and things were getting near a finish, and they were wanted a lad to lay. You had to lay down that time to go off because you're supposed to be injured, and he wouldn't lay down. So a lad that was after being put off run round the sideline, and he got him to lie down. And I went in and we scored 3 goals and 2 points in 11 minutes and won by that. So I suppose you'd say I'm bragging, but that's how it happened. Every ball came to me. Then it was senior the next year, 55, and we got to the final against Road, and then the ref was brought down from Dublin to do us because the county board don't want Daingean winning, because there was a tale out that time that if Daingean won the championship, Offaly would win the Leinster, and nobody wanted a Daingean captain of an Offaly team to win the first Leinster, you know. We'd be in Williams's now, and some old person from way out Bracknell or somewhere like that, or Kilcormac or somewhere, they'd be in the yard, and they'd say, Greene's lorry, and then come up. When Daingean win the Offaly championship, and we were going well at the time, Jack and myself, and they said, when Daingean win the Offaly championship, Offaly will win the Leinster. They picked Jack on the trial team, but they didn't pick me on either team. So I brought my boots to the match because I knew there'd be lads that wouldn't, old blokes that wouldn't play on a trail team, but if they weren't on the Offaly team, they wouldn't be. So they came and asked me had I my boots. I said I had, and they said, will you play? I said I play with the trial team along with Jack, and they said we can't have that. You'll be playing with Jack. You and Jack make fools of the Offaly bags. And of course, being a bit of a boy, I said, isn't that what we were supposed to do? We started in 60, and we had, the first thing was the county board meeting, and the proposal that every senior club have a selector, because then you'd have a fair, you'd have a better chance of picking the proper men. And when that was passed, the intermediate and junior teams looked for a representative from them. So they gave a representative to North Offaly and South Offaly in both. So you had 14 selectors, and Father Dorn then was put manager.
Heroes, courageous, greatest of all, we the faith.
And Father Dorn says to me, score a couple of pints and make a few scores, he says, and take the bad look off it. I wheeled and raced in, and the full back and full forward, Sean Ryan and Bill Canavan, shoulder and hip, shoulder to shoulder and hip to hip, and the ball's coming down and Sean Ryan's fist is up, going to hop on it and pull it over the bar. And at the last second, Bill Canavan, a wary old boy, he went away from him and hit him, and the fist missed it by the width of a paper, and it hopped up into the net. And that was it. We were winners. And that made off. And then we played Loud.
Yeah.
And Loud were the best football team you could ever meet. The backs never come in. You couldn't draw them. That team surprised everybody because it played football. We only had, on that team, we had 10 men out the field playing team football.
Heroes, courageous, greatest of.
In the Leinster final against Louth, it was a terrible wet day, and I remember coming near the end of it, I was completely exhausted, and lucky enough they brought Mick Casey out to midfield, and Mick saved the day for us as far as I was concerned, because I was finished.
And hear everybody say the crowd affects them and all that sort of thing. I never even knew there was anybody watching the match. I was concentrating the whole time, and that was growing up with hunting and with the cattle. You had to be concentrating the whole time. I wouldn't even hear the crowd in Croke Park or anywhere else. And it was the ball. I was watching the ball all the time. And they hadn't been playing football together enough and practicing enough when you weren't playing in another county. So everything, but they put up a great effort, all right. But the one thing about that Offaly team was there was no slacker in it at all. Every one of them would put their life on the line to go for the ball. And just that we didn't keep going like we had started in 60 when we had Father Dorn coaching us what to do. Everybody was learning then. A lot of them were young and they were learning. But then as soon as you started running around the field and not playing, you lost all that. In the All-Ireland, some lads played fish well. And we were just unlucky that Down got goals because we weren't playing football. Johnny Egan thought the ball was going out over the in line and he didn't follow it. And Sean O'Neill went out and got it and came round him and stuck it in the net. It's a bit big to be holding up, isn't it? There we are,
Heroes, courageous, greatest of all, we the faith.
Casey in possession now from 60 yards out, a high ball across into the centre. Fisted in further by Tommy Cullen. It goes in now to Howard Donnelly. Donnelly, 35 yards out, the ball's gone in now, and it is a goal! Tommy Greene the scorer. And here comes the final whistle, and Offaly have won and have qualified for the All-Ireland final for the first time in their history.
I was moving in for the break, and Oliver Moran came from the other side, and I was going away from my side, and I had to go back because I could see he was going to knock it that way, and I just whipped it. I was through and go on in and pulled by Aidan Brady. And the next one was the very same as the penalty thing. A bad kick, it didn't come far enough, but I took it and I was gone through. I came from the side again and raced in, took it, and it came far enough for me to take it up, take it on the hop like and put it in by Aidan Brady. One with each foot. That was the important thing. Aidan Brady was set for me right foot after scoring the first one. I hit it with the left.
Heroes, courageous, greatest.
The trouble before that was when the Offaly were in the final, the rumour got out that Martin over Roscommon would be ref in the final, and he was a butcher in Edenderry. So Down objected straight away that he'd favour Offaly. So they put Mickey McArdle, and he was from Louth, and he was reffing in Down. So, and he was at the doing us with the replay. So we objected to him, and the GAA wouldn't agree that he be left out. So Offaly left the meeting, and when they were gone, Maguire O'Cabin was made the ref. And he wasn't going to give Offaly fair play. So I got no penalty.
Heroes, courageous, greatest of all.
And I raced direct for the goals because that's where the ball was going to come, into the danger area. And it did come, but it didn't come far enough or strong enough. But just as I had to wait for it to hop and slow down. And that's when he dived, just as I took it in my hands and was going to kick it into the net. He dived and went out over me and pushed me and went out over me and left me on top of my head. And the goalie ran out and picked it up. It was all in the square. It should have been a penalty.
In a moment, you will witness a controversial incident of this match. Was Tommy Greene fouled? If so, was the foul committed inside or outside the penalty area? There you are. You can judge for yourself.
Heroes, courageous, greatest of all. We the faithful, never give up. Heroes, courageous, greatest of all. We the faithful, never give up.
For the following year, 60, first round match against Carlow, we were down a couple of points, and I kicked in a high ball. And there was only a couple of minutes to go, and we were a couple of points behind, and the brawl broke loose. I was talking to the Carlow full back, and he told me what happened was that the cornerback dropped the ball, and it went on the ground and it rolled into the back of the net through the fullback's legs, and that really started us on the way to winning the Leinster for 2 years in a row. After 2 years in a row, in the All-Ireland, our first All-Ireland semi-final against Down, we were being beaten by a few points. I'm not sure exactly what the score was, and I kicked in a sideline ball, and the ball finished up into the back of the net, and it saved the day for us because we were going to be beaten otherwise.
Got behind in every match in 60, and we came from behind and won. You know, so we weren't afraid if we got a couple of pints behind or anything.
We couldn't be more.
We didn't know what nerves were. We didn't know what, you didn't know what hamstrings were. Anything like that. You were glad to be getting out there.
We were looking to beat Loud in the last final. We were to beat Loud by a point.
Pint, yeah.
And Kevin beat Lauren Mercer, he died there last year. He was Kevin died. He was a very good free taker. For some reason, he had a free, and he never got the ball off the goal, I think.
Well, the thing was, he always kicked it low,
Who's this?
Kevin Lee, he always
Oh,
kicked
yeah,
a free
yeah.
low and it wasn't far over the bar. But
Heroes, courageous, greatest.
for the whole week before, the whole month before, so we were great. We were out there in St. Conlix and
Down there training.
And training. We were playing football that time.
That's right.
We were learning to play. And we were all young, apart from what, 2, 3.
We were all young lads.
We were all young lads.
Yeah.
We picked Dublin 9 points.
That's right.
We walked through them. And they were at the winning the Leinster the year before, and All Ireland the year before that.
Because Dublin was after beating Longford in Mullingar.
Yeah.
And they scored 10 goals and 14 points.
So what the Johnny Joyce?
I'll never forget, and Longford scored 3 goals and 9 points.
Yeah.
And we scored 3 goals and 9 points, and we beat Dublin.
Oh, we also had a hard match against Carlow.
Oh, that was the hardest, yeah.
Both matches.
Yeah.
I remember he gave away a penalty. I got the rest of them. We were told the penalty put her wide.
Just by the post.
Moved over. At the Spa Hotel we met.
That's right, yeah.
We got to the Croke Park in the bus. And rode in by North Mercy, he was the secretary. And we went into all this entrance as we to get in. We were turned away.
That's right, we were stopped, we were on a bus now.
The team couldn't get in.
The team couldn't get in. And down came, and they walked straight in. And we had to wait.
No, it was, we were stopped. We were sent out to another gate.
Yeah.
And we didn't get in there either.
Yeah.
And we came back up. We got in the first gate eventually, you know.
They said they'd have to have a final anyway.
Rodney O'Brien had to pass for the team to get in.
That was a great Dublin team.
That was a great Dublin team.
That was the best Dublin team of the whole lot.
That was a good one. Well, I remember that myself. Kevin, he gave me a belt.
Oh, Kevin Heffernan hit him a belt. He hit Heffernan as his enemy. Yeah, oh, he's fierce snaky.
No, I said this much for him. He put me over the sideline. And he came back, put out his hand, picked me up.
Yeah.
And he said to me, Phil, are you all right?
Yeah, but he just...
His father was from Offaly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We bet them that day 113 to 1-8.
Well, I couldn't remember.
Mickey Whelan and Des Foley were midfield that day, and Des was in the back the day before. But they used speed against us that day, because they had Mickey Whelan in the middle of the field with Des Foley, and they had Conor O'Leary centre back, and they had me man coming out for a ball, your man, Blackie Cole.
Yeah, that's right.
And they were using speed against us. I must have funnied for half the time, funny him in that day. Because Sean Burton was caught with Mickey Whelan, you know, and Sean Ryan wasn't good enough for, and I was spending a lot of time cutting them off from getting going in, but Whelan got in one time where we were attacking, and the ball was lost.
They were a good team.
And they were a good football team.
Oh, they were, yeah.
They had good forwards.
Good forwards.
Yeah.
In those times, we travelled down from Dublin. You trained, you got a cup of tea in the reformatory in Daingean, and you drove back, and you never met again until maybe the following. If there was a match the weekend, you played a match, and if not, you trained. You done your own training, not like nowadays. You have to. They're on all sorts of diets and one thing and another. I was in the Air Corps, and I can tell you, you wouldn't fatten on what you got in there.
Heroes, courageous, greatest of.
In Offaly never won anything like that before. We were the first team in Offaly to make the breakthrough. We got to the semi-final against Dublin, and as I was telling you earlier on there, they got a penalty, and I still maintain it should have been a free out. Because I still can see Paddy, Greg, and Nick riding across like that. and we got in charge and went down and got a penalty. It was disappointing to be beaten in the final. But then again, we always great after that. But Offaly have come on and won. About hurling the football. And that I would think came from the likes of us. He was all right. Give him the ball and he was dangerous. Yeah, give him the ball, he was dangerous.
Heroes, courageous, greatest of all. We the faith. Heroes, courageous, greatest of all. We the faith. Heroes, courageous, greatest of all. We the faith.
If Peter O'Reilly happened to come, we'd have won All Ireland. Because we got away from the football then. And you got away from one another, you know, the moving of the ball and that. Go on, Paddy.
But we enjoyed it.
Well, I thought Peter O'Reilly made football an Offaly now, truthfully. He trained us, and he put everyone in his own position, and he told us what to do. He told me anyway, that's for sure.
He walked in on the field the Thursday evening after we won the Leinster, and me and Sean Brereton.
We're not going to follow about it.
No, but Sean Brereton was after, he lost his shot because he got hit on the knee with some fella at dinner time down in the road, and he hurt down the knee, and he was trying to get his shot back for a whole year, and me and him used to go out there and he'd keep the ball. And Peter O'Reilly came running out. That was the first evening we had the Leinster won, and he says, no football, and he took the ball away, and Sean says to me, who's that? And I says, that's Peter O'Reilly, he used to be with Dublin. They started running around the field, and Peter O'Reilly came to me and he says, are you not running with them? And I says, I don't do that. And he goes away, and Father Doran comes to me, he's our manager, and he comes to me and he says, who's that fella? Now he's manager of the team, he doesn't even know that fella's coming.
Before 1960, Offaly were just, well, they were only mediocre in my opinion, and we got to the Leinster final minor in '57, and 5 or 6 of us came on that team then. 9, I went in cornerback anyway, and it's history after that. McCormick, Hughes and Eager. We're all one. We gelled together. Going back to the 61 then, we were a different team. We didn't fear no one. The night of the final, and we came down home then Monday, and I was only young, and I didn't mind it that much at all. And Mick Casey used to cry every half hour when he told me, because he was at the end of his tether. In '69 then we came on and we got to the All Ireland again, the All Ireland final again, and that's another one we threw away. '71 then I started to train then in January along with Patsy Rose in the Phoenix Park. I never forget it. I was working in town at the time, and I couldn't run 50 yards. But anyway, we kept ahad, and the Jenny turned out that we won the All Ireland. The first game we played was against Longford. I'll never forget it, and we just beat Longford a couple of pints. Oh, I tell you who we played in the '71 All Ireland semi-final. We played Cork. Because I was staying in Blanchardstown along with Donor Waters, and didn't Cork beat Kerry the last kick of the game? And we were living beside the Hall of Murtagh. The next morning he came out anyway, Monday morning I was there. Well, Paddy, you're in the All Ireland semi-final against Cork. Well, now, that was a tough one. Galway was winning, they were beating us 5 points at half time, but before that anyway, there was a ball coming in and one after another. That was the toughest game we played in a long time. We had a hit and be hit. And we went in at half time there, and there was Father Gillooly and Father McWee and the whole lot were there. Poor old Fatty Galooly got up and he says, now lads, may Our Lady protect us. You see. And I used to do the mountain that because I was only one from the 60 team. And I said, now Father, out of the dressing room. And that I didn't say to them wasn't worth saying. I hit the table, I kicked anyway, and I put cooks in the towel. I told the two boys to get out. Anyway, the rest is history. We went out anyway, we won the final. All Offaly went mad, sure, all Offaly went mad.
And with the referee looking at his watch now, Paddy McCormack, number 3, standing back, the burly Paddy, the man from Rhodes, and there goes, the referee has called for the goal, and there goes the final whistle, and Offaly have won the All-Ireland for the first time in history.
Heroes, courageous, greatest of all. Heroes, courageous, greatest of all.
We won the London Championship. So I was captain of London then for the Junior All-Ireland. And we had some great players like Mickey Doran, Joe Harrison, half back line, and Joe Madden. We're all from different counties. And then you had, I had Mahi Cahill and Gene Driscoll with me on the full forward line. And they were brilliant, all played for Cavan and Kerry, you know, before they came over. So all I had to do was regulate it and move the ball quick when I gave it. And Mahi had 2 goals in a couple of minutes, and Gene had a goal in, and I had a pint scored in the first 5 minutes. So that was it. We got only 1 free in the whole out inside the Killie half. I scored that, and that's the only free we got. And Sean Rain scored 6 frees. Now he may have even got more frees than he scored, but he was a good free taker, and he got 6 frees. And they got 12 points, and I scored 2 goals and 4 points, and only 1 free, and we won by a point. Well, it was the first win, except for back in 1909, and that time Tullamore and Quarrymount were thrown out of the championship, and one of them was going to win it, but Daingean played Baldomere or somebody like that and beat them, and they automatically got the championship because the 2 teams objected to one another, and there were 2 thrown out, and Daingean were given. So they always said Daingean never won anything on the field, so we won that one on the field.
Tom Greene had an interest in not only football and hunting. Tom Greene would see 3 or 4 moves ahead, whereas when you get the ball, so most of us was to catch the ball and kick it. But Tom Greene would see a move to pass it to another, and he'd be roaring on the field or roaring on the sideline. When can you do this? When can you do that? See such a man, he's that effing ball. I remember Mick saying, that brother now, his Mick, saying one time about Daingean, when we were playing for Daingean, and he done something that wasn't agreeable, and Mick said he saw a big F coming in across the field, and I think the priest saw a toe.
Heroes, courageous, greatest of all. We will face.
People, a lot of lads stayed in the one position, they played their corner back or corner bar. Full back stayed there all the time. Centre back never moved out of centre back. He stayed there. Now you'll see a centre back and he going up and he scored because the half hour didn't follow him, and the backs above are afraid to go for some fella to get idle and go in and score a goal. But he scores a pint instead, to give away a pint instead of a goal, you know. It's all that. Well, I wouldn't even look at it now.
Heroes, courageous, greatest of.
Football, I'm still maintain it's rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. And I go back to the Offaly season when the 21 wasn't $1. The people was coming and the big call. and both the three teams played football.
Heroes, courageous, greatest of all, we will fade.
Terry Conley now with the ball. Terry sends up the first. Tommy Greene. Tommy has the ball. Say Tommy turns it on. Tommy takes a shot. On a tie and it's over the bar. And Daingean's gone into 1-9 now. 2-9 is the score. For Drumcullen 6 points. Well, Daingean gone into a 9-point lead. Rare sends a great ball across to Tommy Greene now. Tommy Greene with great ball is first Paul George. And here comes Daingean. And Paul George goes right through. He's still George, still Paul George. He makes the George a goal! A great goal from Paul George and a great move by Daingean.
Heroes, courageous, greatest of all, we will fade. Heroes, courageous, greatest of all, we will fade. Heroes, courageous, greatest of all, we will fade.
Phil O'Reilly said in a book about the 1960-61 team, there was a few laps of the team, a few sprints, and then all football. But that's what it was at the time, and I suppose it was new territory for those players. But Tommy didn't like the training, and he said that himself. And his last game was actually in the 1967 Leinster final. So he was playing at that stage with a few of the players that went on and won All-Ireland senior football medals in 1971 and 1972. Some of the greats, and he was corner forward on that team, which probably shows how good he was. Very important part of the Daingean team that won senior football championship. He played a lot of hurling when he was older, in his 40s. I think he played his last hurling game for Daingean in 1999. Yeah, I don't know the man personally, but absolutely revered in Offaly, like huge name, and one that everybody will remember.
Heroes, courageous, greatest of all.
As we walked out from Croke Park, it was a sight to behold. Men, women, aye, and children too, wore the green, white and gold. They travelled far by bus and car, some didn't get home till morn. We blessed the day he came our way, the Reverend Father Lorne.
Heroes, courageous, greatest of all.
Faithful county ever hold within your heart serene the names of men like Geishel's Wren or Daingean's Tommy Greene. Kilcormac gave us Donnelly bold of sure and steady aim. His face will grace the foremost place with faithful county men. Matchless Pat McCormack from the slopes of Croghan Hill, you played your part with bounding heart and boundless football skill. That's it. That's his bit.
Heroes, courageous, greatest of all, we will fade. Heroes, courageous, greatest of all, we will fade. Heroes, courageous, greatest of all, we will fade. Heroes, courageous, greatest of all, we will fade.
Significant year when you're from the north, because it was the year that Down won the All-Ireland.
That's right.
First. Armagh had won a junior All-Ireland in 1926.
Yeah.
So we would always have said we were the first to bring a cup across the border, but Down were the first to bring the sand wire across the border, and it was a massive event. And obviously Offaly were involved, 100,000 at the final. So it's very important to remember. Histories were in the management room here of the GAA, where you can see all the presidents, all the Irish rovers. And the GAA, we say that the past built the present and the present builds the future.
Tommy, I just want to say to you, thanks for everything that you've done for Offaly GAA. You had a massively long career. I know you played well into your 50s, ended up winning a Junior B medal, I think scored on the day in your one of your last games for the club, and you've left a huge legacy in both Daingean and in Offaly GAA. And as chairman of Offaly GAA, and also in a personal capacity, because none of us would have achieved what we achieved without the Tommy Greenes of this world making the breakthrough. So Tommy, thank you very much.
Offaly, say ooh Offaly. Offaly, say ooh Offaly. Offaly, say ooh Offaly. Offaly, say ooh Offaly. For yeah, 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 for yeah.
A high loving dropping ball in towards the corner. Nice shot.
For yeah.
Just look out as if you're remembering it or something, you know, it's kind of remembering back to
Remembering right, tin and turnips.
Well, I mean, I was thinking if you only won 61, you not want to start with 60 when we won the first Leinster.
The first Leinster season, the important one, isn't it, Phil?
Yeah. Well, keep you quiet now, Tommy. Let Phil talk.
Offaly, say